In this video, I'll share with you an absolutely inspiring story about getting pregnant at 46 naturally after 2 failed IVFs and a miscarriage. I'm going to tell you about a condition that over 14 million Americans have, and that if not diagnosed and properly treated will affect chances of conceiving or sustaining a pregnancy. This is something you definitely want to know about. Keep watching. I want to tell you about a couple in their mid-40s that were desperate to get pregnant. They tried on their own, but it just wasn't happening. They went to a fertility clinic in the US, had an IVF procedure, it failed. They went to a clinic in Europe for another IVF procedure, it also failed. Then she got pregnant, however miscarried. I know, devastating. I've been there myself. When they reached out to our fertility coaches, they were coming as a last-ditch effort. Both in their mid-40s, told by a fertility specialist they had less than a 0.05% chance of conceiving using their own eggs. Our coaches did a very detailed intake and thorough testing. After this, she and her husband finally got clear answers as to why they weren't conceiving, why the IVFs were failing, and why when they finally did conceive naturally, it ended in a miscarriage. I'm going to talk about all of that. Stay tuned. Charlene Lincoln, Women's Health and Fertility Specialist, first-time mommy in my 40s using all natural solutions I love sharing with you. Subscribe for more tips on optimizing your fertility naturally. I made this video to inspire you, empower you, and to educate you on a condition that is becoming more and more common and often overlooked. Even when visiting a fertility clinic, you would think they would do a thorough analysis, but really most of the time you're just getting assessed for how you would respond to IVF drugs. I'm here to assure you that you can conceive easily into your 40s naturally. However, there are certain considerations when trying to conceive in our late 30s and 40s. And like I said, I'm going to discuss one that is often overlooked, and in doing so can cause you a lot of heartbreak, misery, confusion, and wasted time and money. And I want to avoid all of that. All right, back to the story. In Rossi's case, she had her TSH tested, that's thyroid stimulating hormone, and it came back within range. Now, if you've watched any of my other videos, I always talk about how conventional lab ranges for TSH are too high for optimal fertility. I'll link a video that talks more about that here or here. But this is where it gets really shameful, because this has happened to, dare I say, hundreds of thousands of women. Her thyroid antibodies were never checked. This is after 2 failed IVF procedures. This is after a miscarriage. What studies have found is that elevated thyroid antibodies precede thyroid disease. That means you can have elevated thyroid antibodies for years before abnormalities show up on a thyroid test. Elevated thyroid antibodies indicate that your body is attacking your thyroid gland and is therefore considered an autoimmune condition. When an autoimmune condition develops and is left untreated, it can make getting pregnant and maintaining a pregnancy very challenging. Treating just with thyroid hormone replacement can prove ineffective. It's an autoimmune condition. You need to treat it as such. All right, so here's some steps. First step is to get your thyroid antibodies tested. I recommend this for everyone, and believe it or not, like Rossi's doctor, some doctors will flat out refuse to do this test if your TSH is within range. Solution is you can order a direct-to-consumer lab and test it yourself. Once you find out if this is an issue, then I recommend that you consult with a functional medicine practitioner that specializes in fertility. I'm going to give you a couple direct direct-to-consumer lab options. And if your doctor's not willing to work with you, I'm going to give you a couple of direct-to-consumer lab options if your doctor is not willing to work with you. Just as a side note, I interviewed a practitioner that treats autoimmunity, and she says that one of the early signs that she has seen is an overreaction to bug bite. I wouldn't self-diagnose based on just that. However, it's something to be aware of. With Rossi's husband, they found he did not have healthy enough sperm for natural conception, and this is a really great tip. When your partner gets his sperm quality checked and gets the results, ask your doctor, is my partner's sperm good enough to conceive naturally, or is it good enough for ICSI or IVF? There's a big difference in that, and one that you will definitely want to know about. Once Rossi and her husband got their health in check, they got pregnant within 4 months. This is a free report on improving egg health that I recommend you download now. You'll learn 3 costly misconceptions about age, egg quality, and IVF, 4 potent superfoods you should eat regularly, all validated to improve egg quality, and much more. Download it at healthy-eggs.com. And here are a couple videos I recommend for boosting your fertility. And please subscribe for more tips on natural fertility. See you on the next video.